This is the complete Minecraft iceberg. Splashes. If you've ever sat on Minecraft's main menu, you've probably seen those seemingly random strings of text in bright yellow, and they usually say something like, "now with more pigs," or "made in Sweden." Those actually have a name, and they're called splashes. They're basically just Easter eggs added by Mojang for fun. There are over 400 different splash texts, and they're all usually inside jokes or just references to things like memes, Star Wars, or even Notch's old projects. A few were removed because of sensitive topics like "woo Reddit" after being taken out because of controversy. But yeah, splashes are kind of just like Minecraft's sense of humor popping up every time you launch the game. Mojang. Mojang is, of course, the company behind it all. Mojang was founded in 2009 by Marcus Persson, aka Notch, who was originally just a one-man indie developer. It exploded after Minecraft's success, and in 2014, Microsoft bought Mojang for $2.5 billion. Since then, Mojang has grown from this quirky little indie team to a massive studio. Another little fun fact is the Mojang logo animation at the start of the game has changed several times, from a simple text logo to the current red Mojang Studios that has that bouncing cube effect. Notch. Notch, or Marcus Persson, is, as I've said, the original creator of Minecraft. He programmed the earliest versions of the game back in 2009 as an experimental sandbox game, inspired by other games like Infiniminer and Dwarf Fortress. He's often remembered as the face of Minecraft, even though he sold and stepped away after the acquisition by Microsoft. Since then, Notch has really kind of just become a controversial figure online, but he still is the founder of the game and loved by many for just that simple fact. Herobrine. Herobrine is definitely the most famous Minecraft urban legend. Herobrine is this supposed creepy figure, basically like Steve, but with blank white eyes. Players claimed he would stalk them, build mysterious things, or just completely mess up their worlds. There's no code in the game that ever actually added Herobrine, but Mojang has leaned into the myth with jokes for years. Patch notes would often include "Herobrine removed" as a gag. And despite being fake, Herobrine became a cultural icon, inspiring thousands of creepypastas, iconic videos, and mods. Java and Bedrock. These are the two main versions of Minecraft. Java Edition is the original, only on PC, mod-friendly, and with features like snapshots. On the other hand, Bedrock Edition is the cross-platform version that works on phones, consoles, and Windows 10. Plus, neither version is necessarily definitively better than the other. Java has more mods and community servers, but crossplay is a really big factor on Bedrock Edition. Biomes. Biomes are basically Minecraft's environments. They include forests, deserts, swamps, and of course, the list goes on. Their generation gives the game variety and identity. Minecraft initially launched with just a few basic biomes, but now has dozens, like the frozen peaks, cherry blossom groves, and mangrove swamps. Each biome brings its own unique blocks, mobs, and generation quirks, so it's really nice to go and explore different biomes. Dimensions. These include the overworld, the nether, and the end. These are, of course, your 3 dimensions of the game. The overworld is your classic survival world. The nether is, of course, a hell-like dimension full of lava and hostile mobs. And the end is this barren alien space with, of course, the Ender Dragon. There have been rumors and myths about secret dimensions like the Sky Dimension, which actually was planned but never finished. And of course, mods add a ton of custom ones. But in vanilla Minecraft, these 3 are the core. Achievements/advancements. Achievements were added early as just little goals, like getting wood when you first punch a tree. Later, they were replaced with advancements, which basically work like a branching tree of challenges, all the way from beginner stuff to endgame tasks like adventuring time. Players use these as natural checkpoints, and they're overall just a good way to measure progress in a survival world. Panorama. When you load up Minecraft, the background isn't just a static image. It's a slowly spinning panorama shot from an actual Minecraft world seed. The original menu background came from a random Minecraft world seed that went undiscovered until fans tracked it down in 2020. That discovery was a huge deal in the Minecraft community because it showed how dedicated players were to finding little details like this. Music discs. Music discs are collectible items you can play in jukeboxes. The most famous is Disc 11, a creepy, broken soundtrack that sounds like static and footsteps, which has fueled all kinds of crazy conspiracy theories. Others, like Disc 13 and 5, also have eerie sort of vibes. Meanwhile, discs like Cat and Pickstep are just well loved by the community. They give Minecraft this weird mix of both an unsettling and wholesome atmosphere at the same time. Mojang has done yearly votes letting players choose what mob or biome to add. It started as a fun way to get the community involved, but quickly became controversial. Every year, huge arguments break out online about which mob should have won. For example, the 2020 vote gave us the glow squid instead of the iceologer. This really struck a nerve with some people, and there were countless posts about rigged voting online. Alex and Steve. These are the two official player skins. Steve was the only default until Alex was added in 2014 with thinner arms and a ponytail. They have since become mascots for Minecraft. Interestingly, Steve was originally nameless. Fans just started calling him that, and eventually Mojang ran with it. Now, both are, of course, official characters. Minecon. Minecon is Minecraft's official convention. It started in 2011 with a gathering in Las Vegas to celebrate the full release of Minecraft. For years, it was a huge event with panels, announcements, and of course, the iconic cape giveaways. But now it's mostly online, rebranded as Minecraft Live. But till this day, those early Minecon capes remain one of the rarest flexes in the game. Piggybacking off the last entry, the next one is Minecraft Live. This is the current yearly live stream event where Mojang announces updates, shows trailers, and hosts the mob vote. It's basically Minecraft's equivalent of an E3 presentation, and fans tune in worldwide to see what's coming next. Seeds. Every Minecraft world is generated based on a seed number. This means the same seed generates the same world for everyone. Some seeds have become famous, like ones with crazy generations, or speedrunning seeds optimized for fast Ender Dragon kills. The seed finding community is massive, with people hunting things down like, of course, the Panorama seed, Herobrine sightings, or perfect village spawns. Creeper origin. The Creeper is Minecraft's most iconic mob, but it was actually created by accident. Notch was trying to model a pig, but he messed up the code and actually stretched it vertically. Instead of deleting it, he gave it explosive abilities. And just like that, the Creeper was officially born. When you beat the Ender Dragon, you see a long, cryptic text scroll, often called the End Poem. It was written by Irish writer Julian Goff, and it's this surreal conversation between two beings about dreams, reality, and the player's journey. It's way deeper and more philosophical than most people would expect from Minecraft, and it gives the game a sense of mystery at the end. C418. Daniel Rosenfeld, aka C418, is the composer of Minecraft's original soundtrack, including Volume Alpha and Beta. His music is what gave Minecraft its iconic atmosphere. Calm, ambient piano places that play as you explore the world. C418 left the project years ago, but his tracks are still beloved as some of the most nostalgic video game music of all time. Snapshots and previews. Snapshots for Java and previews for Bedrock are early test versions Mojang releases so players can try features before official updates. They let the community give feedback and often contain unfinished or experimental mechanics. It's basically Mojang's way of letting the community help shape development. Minecraft Volume Alpha and Beta. These are the official albums of Minecraft soundtrack by C418. Volume Alpha includes most of the iconic early tracks like Sweden and Subwoofer Lullaby, while Volume Beta introduced darker, more atmospheric songs fitting for the Nether and caves. Death messages. When you die in Minecraft, the game displays a message like player fell from a high place, or player was slain by zombie. There are dozens of variations, some of them being funny and some of them being grim. They add a bit of personality and humor to an otherwise frustrating moment. Dragon Egg. When you beat the Ender Dragon, the first unique reward you get is the Dragon Egg, a decorative block that teleports when you touch it. For years, it was the rarest block in the game because there was, of course, only one per world, but players have come up with things like elaborate contraptions with pistons to move it safely. It doesn't really do anything, but it is a badge of honor for beating the game. Cobblestone generator. This is a simple trick where water meets lava to basically create infinite cobblestone. This became especially important in skyblock maps, where resources are limited and you basically survive by farming cobblestone forever. It's one of the most well-known mechanics for Minecraft veterans. Hardcore mode. This is a special world type where you only get one life. If you die, it is completely over. The world is just deleted. Hardcore hardcore mode then of course adds a lot of extra tension and even spawned a lot of hardcore survival YouTubers. The specially designed hearts in hardcore worlds, the hearts even have special designs on them and are different than they are in normal survival worlds. Minecraft Launcher. This is of course the program that starts the game. Originally very bare bone, it now manages multiple versions, accounts, and even Minecraft dungeons or legends. For a lot of players, the launcher is their first experience before even entering the game. Villages. Villages are structures populated by NPC villagers. Originally, villagers didn't even have jobs. They just wandered around all day with big noses. But over time, they've become a huge part of the game, with trading systems, professions, and of course, iron golems. They're now one of the most important features in survival worlds for trading rare items. Diamonds. Diamonds are of course an iconic Minecraft item. For years, diamonds were the best resource, used for the absolute strongest tools and armor. Finding diamonds used to be such a big milestone that kids would scream as soon as they saw that blue ore. Even though netherite is technically stronger now, diamonds remain the most prevalent status of wealth in the game. Netherite. Added in 1.16, netherite is a rare upgrade to diamond gear, found by mining ancient debris in the nether. It's stronger and doesn't burn in lava, of course making it better than plain old diamonds. Because it's so hard to obtain, netherite has become a late game grind goal. Blocks. Kind of obvious, but if you've been playing the game, you might have noticed that it is made up of blocks. Grass, dirt, stone, wood. Each block has its own properties. This simple system is what makes the game so endlessly creative, since you can basically build whatever you want in the game. Mobs. Mobs are the living creatures of Minecraft. Animals, villagers, and monsters. They give the game life and challenge. From little old harmless cows to terrifying endermen, mobs are a cornerstone of Minecraft's design. Crafting. The crafting table is probably the single most important block in the entire game. By arranging items, you create tools, armor, and basically everything else. Crafting is what gives Minecraft its sandbox depth. You aren't just surviving, you're also inventing. Enchantments. Enchanting lets you upgrade your gear with magical effects, like sharpness or fortune. It adds strategy to progression, since the right enchantments can make tools vastly more powerful. Enchanting led to the famous enchantment table language, which we'll see more about later on in the Iceberg. Redstone. Redstone is Minecraft's wiring system. With redstone, players can create anything from simple doors to flat out literal full-on computers. Redstone is basically digital circuitry, logic gates, clocks, memory storage, and it's turned Minecraft into a platform for engineering as much as a game for survival. Some players only ever dabble in it, while others build fully functional CPUs or games within the game. It really is the ultimate expression of Minecraft's depth. That wraps up tier 1, but before we get into tier 2, all I ask is if you're enjoying the video, please drop a like and subscribe. This is my first video and it's taking a lot longer than I expected, but I'm hoping you guys really do enjoy it. Back to the Iceberg. Christmas chests. On December 24th and 25th, chests in Minecraft automatically change to look like wrapped Christmas presents. It's a small seasonal Easter egg that's been in the game since 2012. Large chests get a red and green pattern, while single chests look like tiny gift boxes. This feature is hard-coded into the game, meaning you don't need mods and it happens every year. There are other holiday touches too, like Halloween's pumpkin-headed mobs, but Christmas chests are arguably the most iconic. Data packs. Data packs were introduced in Java Edition 1.13 as a way to customize worlds without mods. They let you change recipes, advancements, loot tables, and even world generation. They basically give players the creative control to tweak the game in lightweight ways, leading to tons of custom survival challenges and mini-games shared online. Behavior packs. This is the bedrock equivalent of data packs. These basically control how mobs act, like their AI, drops, or interactions. They're part of the Bedrock Marketplace ecosystem where players and creators can upload custom content. Resource packs. These let players change Minecraft's textures, sounds, and UI. They replace the older texture pack system and are far more customizable. You can make Minecraft look hyper realistic or turn every block into Nicolas Cage's face if you wanted to for some reason. Resource packs are one of the biggest reasons Minecraft has endless replayability. Pre 1.0. This refers to Minecraft before its official release in 2011 at Minecon. Everything before version 1.0, the alpha and the beta builds, is remembered fondly and super nostalgically by older players. These versions had quirks like simpler terrain generation, iconic music, and sometimes janky mechanics. For many, pre 1.0 is peak nostalgia, when Minecraft just felt raw and experimental. Name tag Easter eggs. Name tags let you rename mobs, but certain names have special effects. For example, naming a sheep Jeb _ makes it cycle through rainbow colors. Naming a mob Dinnerbone or Grum makes it flip upside down. And Toast turns a rabbit into a special texture based on a real pet. These are some of Minecraft's most beloved hidden features. Farlands. The Farlands were a terrain generation glitch in early Minecraft. Instead of normal terrain, once you traveled millions of blocks away from spawn, the world just broke into insane jagged walls and bizarre landscapes. They were removed in beta 1.8, but remain one of the most legendary bugs in gaming. Players like Kurt J. Mack in Farlands or Bust dedicate years walking towards them in survival worlds. Mushroom Island. This is a rare biome covered in giant mushrooms and only populated by mushrooms. Hostile mobs do not spawn there, making it one of the safest biomes in the game. For years, Mushroom Islands were a prized survival find because of their rarity and unique resources. Wither painting. One of Minecraft's many paintings includes one of the Wither boss. The weird part is that the painting was added before the Wither itself existed in the game, so players back then were obviously confused, wondering if it was a tease of something to come. And of course, it was. Mobs on chiseled blocks. Chiseled stone bricks and sandstone sometimes contain carvings of mob faces, like creepers or wither skeletons. They don't ultimately serve a gameplay purpose, but they do hint at Minecraft's lore, like ancient civilizations that might have existed before players. It's one of the earliest world building through texture details in the game. Enchantment table language. When you open the enchantment table, the text looks like runes. It's actually a cipher from the standard galactic alphabet, originally from the Commander Keen games. Translating it gives random words like creep or Minecraft. They don't correspond to actual enchantments. This fueled a lot of myths early on, with players thinking you could predict enchantments by reading the table. Spin-offs. Minecraft has had several spin-off games, including Minecraft Story Mode, which was a telltale narrative game, Minecraft Dungeons, a dungeon crawler RPG, and Minecraft Legends, which was a strategy adventure. Admittedly, not all were huge hits, but it shows how Mojang expanded beyond the original sandbox formula. Amplified. This is a world generation option that massively exaggerates terrain height and steepness. It creates insane cliffs and floating islands, making survival both harder and more cinematic. Amplified worlds are performance heavy, but loved by players who want dramatic landscapes. Programmer art. When Minecraft updated its textures in 1.14, they gave the option to keep the old ones as a resource pack called programmer art. For longtime fans, it's basically a nostalgia toggle. You can either embrace the new look or stick with the classics if you choose. Tutorial worlds. In older console editions of Minecraft, like the Xbox 360 and PS3, the game included a built-in tutorial world. It taught players the basics of crafting and building. Many fans have fond memories of exploring these worlds, which also had hidden secrets and Easter eggs. Curing zombie villager. If you splash a zombie villager with a weakness potion and feed it a golden apple, it will transform back into a normal villager. This mechanic encourages helping NPCs instead of just killing them, and it ties into trading and village growth. Original Minecraft name. Before it was called Minecraft, the game's original name was just Cave Game. It then went by Minecraft, Order of the Stone, before it just eventually got shortened to Minecraft. Mob lightning effects. When mobs get struck by lightning, they transform. Pigs turned into zombified piglins, villagers become witches, and creepers become charged creepers with extra powerful explosions. It is a rare event, but it adds a chaotic surprise to survival worlds. Creepy discs. Beyond Disc 11, there are other unsettling tracks like Disc 13 and 5 that just sound eerie and unsettling. These distorted discs serve as part of the foundation of Minecraft's creepypasta lore, making players wonder if something darker is truly hidden in the game. Igloo basement. Some igloos generate with a hidden basement underneath. Inside, you'll find a villager locked up with a zombie villager, plus brewing supplies. This might hint at some sort of experiments in trying to cure zombies. It's one of the few naturally generated storytelling structures in Minecraft. World border. Every Minecraft world has a hard-coded border. On Java, it's at 30 million blocks. Beyond it, the game just starts glitching out. You can technically reach it in survival, but it takes months and months of walking. It's like the ultimate end of the world in game. Loading tips. In Bedrock Edition, loading screens sometimes show tips about gameplay, like creepers explode when close to you. Java doesn't have them, making this a small but noticeable difference between versions. Pink sheep. Naturally spawning pink sheep are extremely rare, with about a 0.2% chance. Because of that, finding one in the wild is considered good luck. Whole communities online post their pink sheep sightings like they've seen a cryptid. Bedrock's marketplace. On Bedrock, there's a built-in marketplace where players can buy skins, maps, and resource packs with mine coins. And it is controversial. Some players love supporting creators, but others dislike paid content in a game known for community-driven mods. Bedrock Beta. Before Bedrock was unified across devices, each platform had its own version, like Pocket Edition or Windows 10 Edition. These older versions are often lumped together as Bedrock Beta, marking the transition period before true crossplay. Pocket Edition. Launched in 2011 for phones and other mobile devices, Minecraft Pocket Edition was the first step to making the game playable anywhere. At first, it was pretty bare bones, with no nether and no redstone. It gradually grew into the Bedrock version we know today. Capes. Capes are rare cosmetic items given out at events like Minecon or given to certain staff. Capes are extremely valuable in the community because they're just unobtainable for most players. Some people even buy and sell accounts with capes on them online, and some hackers try to spoof them to show off in-game. Old Village. Before the Village and Pillage update, villages had simpler generation and villagers without any professions. These old villages are remembered for their basic farms and slightly broken layout, which was charming in its own way. Minecraft has a free demo version that limits you to 100 minutes of playtime in a single world. It's often people's first taste of Minecraft before actually buying the full game. Debug screen. On Java, pressing F3 shows you the debug screen, which shows you your coordinates, biome, FPS, and tons of other technical info. For speedrunners and technical players, it's an essential feature, but for beginners, it's often just overwhelming. Note block sounds. Note blocks can play different sounds depending on the block underneath them, like drums on stone, bass on wood, or bells on gold. This feature lets players compose full songs in Minecraft, leading to some incredible in-game music covers. Lena Raine. In 2020, Mojang added new music from music composer Lena Raine, known for Celeste. Her tracks like Pickstep and the Nether themes expanded Minecraft's soundscape beyond C418's work, bringing a fresh yet fitting feel. Critical hit. If you attack while you're falling, you deal extra damage with a critical hit. The animation shows little star particles. It's a subtle mechanic, but mastering crits is key for combat, especially in PvP. Realms. Minecraft Realms are Mojang's official subscription-based servers. They let friends play together without needing third-party hosts. While limited in customization compared to big servers, Realms make multiplayer easy for casual players. Bedrock featured servers. On Bedrock, the multiplayer menu has a list of featured servers, like Hive, CubeCraft, and Mineplex back when it was active. These partnerships make servers accessible even to younger players without needing external IPs. Minecraft Story Mode disappearance. Minecraft Story Mode was a telltale narrative adventure set in the Minecraft universe. It had multiple episodes across 2 seasons, with voice acting and branching choices. But when Telltale shut down in 2018, Story Mode was pulled from all digital stores. Today, it's basically just gone unless you already owned it, making it semi-lost media within the Minecraft universe. Killer Bunny. The Killer Bunny is a hostile rabbit that used to spawn naturally. It would attack players with glowing red eyes. Because it was too deadly for new players and didn't really fit Minecraft's tone, Mojang disabled it from spawning. You can still summon it with commands, but it's kind of just one of those secret mobs that not a lot of casual players know about. Giant. The Giant is a massive unused mob, and it was basically just a supersized zombie. It still is actually in the game's code, but of course doesn't spawn naturally. Giants were planned early on in development as a boss-like mob, but they were abandoned, leaving behind this weird unused relic, infested blocks. Stone bricks sometimes generate as infested, containing silverfish that burst out when broken. These blocks are designed to surprise players in strongholds, adding a little element of horror to the game. They look almost identical to normal stone bricks, which makes them so sneaky. April Fool's snapshots. Every year on April 1st, Mojang releases joke snapshots with absurd features. Examples include Minecraft 2.0, which added exploding animals and colored torches, or the Love and Hugs update, which replaced fighting with hugs. These snapshots are completely real but not meant for serious play. They're kinda just Mojang's way of poking fun at themselves. Illusioner. The Illusioner is a hidden, unused illager mob. It can blind players and create duplicates of itself. It's technically still in the code, but has never been added to survival Minecraft. Mojang has said that they might use it one day, but for now, it's a ghost mob that you'll only ever meet with commands. Enchanted golden apple recipe. Golden apples can be crafted with golden ingots, but the enchanted golden apple, the ultra rare notch apple, used to be craftable with gold blocks. Mojang removed the recipe in 1.9, making them exclusive to loot chests. This change caused a ton of debate since enchanted golden apples were iconic in PvP. Ruby Dung. This is the name of an old project Notch was working on before Minecraft. It was meant to be a base building game, but he abandoned it and used some of its code to prototype Minecraft instead. Without Ruby Dung, Minecraft may have never existed. Swamp and jungle villagers. For a long time, villagers didn't match their biomes. A swamp village still could spawn desert villagers. It wasn't until later updates that Minecraft added unique villager skins for each biome, like swamp villagers with mossy clothing, or jungle villagers with brighter outfits. Thing banner. There's a secret banner pattern in Bedrock called Thing. It shows a creepy face that resembles the Mojang logo, though some players think it looks like a skull or ghost. It's one of those tiny Easter eggs that most players just never craft. Education Edition. Minecraft Education Edition is a special version of the game built for schools. It includes tools for chemistry, coding, and classroom collaboration. While most players never touch it, Education Edition has unique items like balloons, element blocks, and chalkboards. Mince Raft. Sometimes when you launch the game, it says Mince Raft instead of Minecraft in the title, and this isn't a bug. It's a deliberate Easter egg with a 1 in 10,000 chance of appearing. It's one of those blink and you'll miss it jokes baked right into the launcher. Full block chests. In older console editions, chests used to render as full-size blocks with no 3D lid animation. It overall just looked chunky and weird compared to Java's detailed chest model. Players who grew up with console Minecraft often remember this as a nostalgic quirk. Fossils. In certain biomes like deserts and swamps, giant fossil structures made of bone blocks generate underground. They're rare and most players never stumble upon them naturally. Fossils even hint at prehistoric creatures in Minecraft's lore. Spectrogram Easter eggs. Spectrograms are visual representations of audio files. Some Minecraft sounds, when run through a spectrogram, reveal hidden pictures like creeper faces or words. Mojang has snuck these Easter eggs into the audio files for years. Lego Minecraft. If you've ever been in the Lego section of your local Target, you'll know that there is an official Lego Minecraft line. It started in 2012 after a fan vote on Lego Minecraft ideas. Sets include villages, strongholds, and even the Nether. It's one of the most successful LEGO collaborations ever and helped push Minecraft even further into mainstream pop culture. Subtitles. Minecraft has an option to show subtitles for sound effects, like zombie groans or arrow hits. This was originally added for accessibility, but players quickly realized it's also useful for gameplay, letting you detect mobs or caves just by reading the captions. Modified Jungle Edge. This is technically the rarest biome in Minecraft. It only spawns when a jungle meets a swamp in very specific conditions, making it insanely uncommon. Most players will never see one without external tools. Brick Pyramid. In Minecraft Pocket Edition Alpha, there was a strange, unfinished structure that would generate naturally called the Brick Pyramid. It served no purpose and was ultimately removed. Today, it's remembered as one of Pocket Edition's strangest relics. Rose. Before poppies existed, roses were Minecraft's default red flower. They were replaced in 1.7, but old school players still call poppies roses out of habit. Green axolotl. When Mojang teased axolotls, one of the concept designs was bright green. It didn't make it into the final game, but the green axolotl became a little bit of lost content that fans still reference. Bundle. Bundles are inventory items meant to store multiple stack types in one slot. They were announced in 1.17 but never got fully added. They exist in creative mode but remain unfinished years later, which has been kinda frustrating to players who wanted better storage. Console edition minigames. Before servers were on consoles, the console versions of Minecraft had built-in minigames like Battle, Tumble, and Glide. They were simple but extremely popular with younger players, and many remember them as their first multiplayer experience. Ambience. Sometimes, while mining in caves, you'll hear strange echoing sounds called cave ambience. These sounds have no gameplay purpose other than making caves creepier. Players used to think that they hinted at hidden dungeons, but they're just atmosphere. Zombie villages. Very rarely, Minecraft generates villages that are completely abandoned and populated only by zombie villagers. These spooky, ruined villages are basically post-apocalyptic Easter eggs. Notch drops apples. If you kill Notch in multiplayer with PvP enabled, he drops apples. This was a hard-coded Easter egg in early versions. Just a little inside joke from the devs. Hidden advancements. Some advancements only appear once you trigger them. Some examples include Monster Hunter or The End again. These hidden advancements surprise players who weren't expecting a notification. Quadruplet chicks. When chickens lay eggs, there's a chance they may hatch multiple chicks. A single egg can spawn up to 4 baby chickens at once, but the odds of that happening are about 1 in 256. So definitely not impossible, but also not very likely at all. Bedrock ray tracing. On Windows 10 with supported GPUs, Bedrock can use ray tracing for realistic lighting and shadows. It completely changes the game's look, making Minecraft almost photorealistic. It's still niche, but one of the most impressive tech updates Mojang has done. Features inspired from mods. Many official Minecraft features were originally just popular mods, some including horses, pistons, and even the hunger system. Mojang has a long history of pulling inspiration from the community. Chain armor recipe. Chainmail armor exists in the game, but you can't craft it. It only appears in loot chests or from trading. Early on, there were rumors of recipes involving fire blocks, but those, of course, never existed. Chainmail remains semi-mysterious because it's basically unobtainable without luck. Mashup packs. On Bedrock, mashup packs are full texture and skin bundles on franchises like Halo, Star Wars, and Skyrim. They're part of the paid marketplace and give Minecraft fun added themes. Leather dyeing. Leather armor can be dyed any color, letting players customize their look. You can even mix dyes for unique shades. This mechanic later inspired banners and other customizable blocks. Enderman speech. If you reverse Enderman sounds, they're distorted phrases like hi or what's up. Mojang confirmed that they're actually just random, but the creepiness made them part of the Enderman's unsettling mystery. Customized world type. Older versions of Minecraft had a customized option for world generation. This let you tweak sliders for caves, dungeons, sea level, and more. It was eventually removed because it was too complex to maintain, but players loved the crazy worlds it generated. Bonus chest. This is a world option that spawns a starter chest with basic wood items and stone tools and stuff like that. It's mainly beneficial for new players, but it's not something that most people ever think about when they're creating a world, but it can be beneficial for new players. Tutorial world music discs. On old console tutorial worlds, hidden music discs were scattered across the map, kinda like a scavenger hunt. It gave players a reason to explore and remains one of the most nostalgic features of console Minecraft. Cursed enchantments. Certain enchantments actually hurt players. Curse of Vanishing makes an item disappear upon death, and Curse of Binding locks armor onto you until it breaks. Intentional game design. Sometimes in bug reports, Mojang marks an issue as intentional game design. This phrase has become a meme in the community, often used sarcastically when weird mechanics are left in the game. Minecraft China. Minecraft China is a free-to-play version of the game published by NetEase. It has unique skins, blocks, and servers that never leave the region. Because it's cut off from the global edition, most players have no idea what exists there, making it almost like a parallel dimension of Minecraft. Slime chunks. Slimes only spawn in specific slime chunks underground, which are randomly scattered throughout the world. These chunks became the foundation for countless slime farms. Most players will never find them without external tools, which kinda makes them one of Minecraft's hidden mechanics. Joke languages. Minecraft has listed joke languages like Pirate Speak, Shakespearean English, and lolcat. Menus get replaced with goofy translations like "ye olde block" or "you has block." They of course serve no real purpose except for humor, but they've been a part of Minecraft's quirky identity for years. Nether reactor core. In early Pocket Edition, as I said earlier, the Nether didn't exist. Instead, players used a nether reactor core to spawn a temporary nether spire structure. It was the only way to access nether resources at the time, and when it was removed, it became one of the most nostalgic lost features for old mobile players. Nether spire. As I said, the nether spire generated when the reactor was activated. It created a tower of netherrack and glowstone and spawned zombie pigmen. It felt mysterious and powerful, but also unstable, vanishing after a while. For many mobile players, this was their nether experience before the nether actually existed. Halloween mob effects. On October 31st, mobs like zombies and skeletons spawn wearing pumpkins. It's one of Minecraft's few seasonal Easter eggs. Super secret settings. In Java 1.7 to 1.8, there was a button called Super Secret Settings that basically just cycled through pretty crazy visual shaders. It could turn the game psychedelic, pixelated, or even inverted. Mojang eventually removed it, but for a while, it was like having a hidden mod menu built in right into the options screen. Mob Bestiary. The Mob Bestiary was a companion book made for Minecraft Dungeons. It included lore entries and background information for mobs. While of course not in base Minecraft, it gave players a rare official peek at how Mojang views their creatures beyond just gameplay mechanics. Hidden texture messages. Some textures in the game actually contain hidden writing. For example, the Enderman's file once contained "missing no," which is a nod to the Pokemon glitch. They're invisible in-game, but kind of feel like secret dev notes tucked away for data miners to uncover. Original wool palette. The original wool colors were duller and more muted. Later on, Mojang brightened them to make building more vibrant. Old school players sometimes miss the softer, more, I guess, survival-like look of the old colors though. Luck and bad luck effects. There are unused effects in the game called luck and bad luck. They change loot chances, but of course, don't appear in survival, at least not without commands. It feels like Mojang tested an entire luck-based mechanic but just never followed through. Disk 11 length. Disk 11 is exactly 1 minute and 11 seconds long, which of course matches its number. It's broken, creepy, and filled with static, kinda sounding like someone running through a cave. Its precise length only adds to the mystery around it. Dirt slabs. In development, Mojang tested dirt slabs, kinda just like cobblestone slabs. But they were of course cut before release, leaving behind only screenshots and code traces. The idea is very simple, but one of the things that some people still ask for in-game. Pigman. Pigmen were planned before zombies and piglins. They looked like villagers, but with pig textures, I guess. They never made it in, but still remain one of the earliest examples of Minecraft's scrapped mob history. Red Dragon. Notch once promised a red dragon boss as a good counterpart to, of course, the Ender Dragon. And instead of spawning in the end, it would actually spawn in the overworld. The idea was scrapped, but fans still bring it up as one of the most famous never added features. Repetitive generation seeds. Certain seeds in old versions generated strange repeating landscapes. Terrain mirrored itself in unnatural patterns. These glitched worlds became prized finds for seed hunters. Human. One of Minecraft's earliest mobs was literally just called Human. It looked just like Steve, and I mean, it was Steve, it just wandered aimlessly, and it wasn't you playing as Steve, obviously. It was only a placeholder, but still survives in the code, making it Minecraft's oldest unused mob. Gas Sounds origin. Gas screams actually came from C418's cat making noises in its sleep. The distorted meows, of course, became one of Minecraft's most iconic mob noises, and the fact that they came from something so innocent makes it even more iconic. Ghast affectionately affectionate scream. Developers once joked that ghasts weren't meant to be scary and that their screams were actually affectionate. It's ironic when you're being fireballed to death, but it is Minecraft's odd sense of humor. Horns can fall from goats when they ram into blocks. These horns can be used to play raid sounds. They became Minecraft's first true musical instrument, and they can even scare other players into thinking a raid has started. Pack.png. The grass hill image used as the default server icon is called pack.png. Its seed was a mystery until, like I said before, fans tracked it down in 2020. Now, players can visit the exact hill from Minecraft's most iconic image. Formatting codes. Minecraft uses formatting codes like section sign A to color text. They're used in signs, chat, and even server plugins. Most players only stumble across them by accident or through trolling. Moon phase effects. Minecraft's moon cycles every 8 nights. It even affects mob spawns. Slimes are more common on full moons. And this is something that most players never even notice as a mechanic at all. Petrified slabs. The creative inventory hides petrified oak slabs. They look normal, but act like stone, breaking with pickaxes instead of axes. They're leftovers from old slab code and really just serve no real purpose. Christopher Zetterstrand. Christopher Zetterstrand is the artist behind Minecraft's paintings, and many of them are actually based on his real-life artworks. This is cool to see because Mojang pulled directly from the real world to fill Minecraft's art. Classic.minecraft.net. To this day, Mojang still hosts Minecraft Classic online. It's the 2009 build of the game, playable for absolutely free. You don't even have to download anything, you just type in the domain and play online. It's blocky, completely bare bones, and a perfect time capsule of how it all started. Gene. The Ender Dragon is nicknamed Gene by fans, and Mojang developers have used the name on occasion, making it semi-official. It definitely is a small detail, but it gives the dragon a little bit more personality. Herobrine cameos. Herobrine isn't real, but Mojang occasionally references him in fake patch notes and promotional art. It's Mojang's way of keeping the legend alive. Sky Dimension. Before the end, Notch planned a sky dimension of floating islands. It was eventually scrapped, but the idea still lives on in the Ether mod. Parts of the old code even lingered in snapshots. Notch reference removal. Mojang has steadily removed Notch's name from splash text and credits after multiple controversies. He is still listed as the creator, of course, but the distance that they're trying to make is clear. Dog Track. One of C418's most nostalgic tracks, Dog, plays in Volume Alpha. For many players, it's tied to their earliest memories of survival. Wololo. This is a reference to Age of Empires where priests shout Wololo while converting units. In Minecraft, dyeing a sheep blue can trigger this message in logs. Rare goats spawn as screaming goats. They sound different, bleat constantly, and ram more often. They're chaotic little variants that players rarely see. Social interaction screen. Pressing P opens the social interactions menu in multiplayer. This is where you can either mute or block players. It's Mojang's attempt at safety tools, but most players just don't ever use it. Firework patterns. Fireworks can be customized with dyes, mob heads, and shapes. You can even make creeper-shaped explosions if you wanted to. It's just one of Minecraft's hidden layers of creativity. Archaeology. First teased in 2020, Archaeology added excavation brushes and pottery shards. It was delayed for years, making most players think that it was just flat out cancelled. When it finally released, it became one of Minecraft's most long-awaited features: secret woodland mansion rooms. Mansions sometimes generate with strange hidden rooms. These include things like cages, fake prisons, or obsidian chambers that seem to serve no purpose. Players still debate if these are intentional lore hints or just random filler in the game, but the mystery of them has never been fully and officially explained by Mojang. Desert Temple Terracotta symbol. The terracotta in desert temples forms a creeper face pattern when viewed from above. Some players thought that it hinted at some sort of creeper god or even an ancient cult. Mojang has never said if it was deliberate, which of course only fuels further speculation. Debug stick. The debug stick is a creative-only tool that changes block states with a click. Players use it to rotate stairs, toggle fences, or create otherwise impossible block combos. It's invisible in survival, but in creative, it feels almost like a magic wand. Locked chest. This was an April Fool's item from 2011. It looked like a regular chest, but couldn't be opened without a Steve Co key. It was a parody of loot boxes from Team Fortress 2. Since it only lasted literally one day, back in 2011, it's now a piece of Minecraft lost history. Hostile mob spawns when sleeping. In old betas, if mobs were nearby when you were trying to sleep, they could actually spawn directly on you. Imagine thinking you were safe and then waking up to a literal zombie in your face. It was eventually scrapped because it kind of made beds useless in survival. Shearable mushroom. Shearing a mushroom strips off its mushrooms and turns it into a regular old cow. The first time players discovered this, it felt like a hidden secret. It's one of Minecraft's rare examples of a mob transforming into another. Novels. Minecraft actually has a line of official novels, starting with Minecraft The Island by Max Brooks. Later books explore different survival stories and biomes. They're definitely not widely read, but they are one of Mojang's rare attempts at official lore. Bloodstone. In early Nether concepts, Bloodstone was the working name for Netherrack. Old screenshots and wikis still reference it. The name was abandoned, likely to keep Minecraft more family friendly. Glowing Obsidian. Exclusive to Pocket Edition, Glowing Obsidian was created during Nether Reactor events. It gave off light but didn't serve much purpose, and once the actual Nether was added to Pocket Edition, it was just completely removed. Testificate. When villagers were first added, their name tag said Testificate. It was just a placeholder for test subject. Players found it kinda creepy though, and it stuck around as a meme long after Mojang removed it. In-dev MD3 mobs. Some early mobs use MD3 models from Quake 3 Arena. They look stiffer and more polygonal than Minecraft's current style. These test mobs never survived past in-dev, which show how experimental Minecraft's early development really was. Light block. This is an invisible block that emits light in Bedrock and Education Edition. Map makers use it to brighten areas without torches or glowstone. It is completely unobtainable in survival though, making it a kind of secret dev block. Disc. An unused placeholder item called Disc still lives in the game's data. It was likely an early prototype for music discs. It doesn't do anything now, but its presence feels sort of like a ghost from pre-release Minecraft. Debug mode world. By holding shift and cycling world types, you can access debug mode. This created a flat world where every block was displayed in giant rows. It was of course meant for testing, but to players it felt kinda like walking through a block museum. Panorama world seeds. As we touched on earlier, the spinning background menu comes from real world seeds. It took fans years of detective work to track them down. Now anyone can load up the exact worlds used for the iconic title screens. In-dev map types. Back in in-dev, you could choose map types like Hell, floating islands, or woods. Each one, of course, had its own unique vibe. They were cut when Minecraft moved forward, but this shows how experimental world generation was in its early days. Infiniminer. Once again, as we touched on before, Notch has admitted that Minecraft was heavily inspired by Infiniminer. Infiniminer was a blocky mining game made by Zachtronics. Minecraft expanded the idea into survival and crafting, but you can definitely see the inspiration. Without Infiniminer, Minecraft may have never existed. 3D anaglyph. Minecraft once had a built-in 3D mode for red and blue glasses. It works, but it was more of a novelty than a useful feature. Mojang removed it because hardly anyone used it, but it definitely was one of their strangest experiments. Caves and Cliffs prototype data pack. Before releasing the Caves and Cliffs update, Mojang shared a prototype data pack to let players test new caves early. It gave a rare behind-the-scenes look at how updates evolve. Players loved it, and it set the scene for future public testing. Warden development. The Warden was teased years before release, with concept art and early mechanics shown at Minecon. Mojang hyped it up as Minecraft's first real horror mob. The long wait only added to its mythic status. Shrub. Shrubs were early plant blocks, basically greener dead bushes. They were eventually removed, leaving dead bushes as their replacement. They still exist in old versions, but of course not in modern survival. Mob perspectives. For April Fools, Mojang released a version where you could play as mobs. You would be able to see the world through their eyes with limited vision and different heights. It was definitely silly, but it inspired mods that let players morph into different creatures. Simmons. This is a weird leftover string in Minecraft's code that references a pig's AI as Simmons. No one really knows why it's there. It's most likely a dev joke, but it adds to the game's mysterious atmosphere. Original Nether names. Before settling on the Nether, Notch was considering calling it the Slip or even just Hell. These names were scrapped, but they still pop up in old posts and old screenshots. Basalt Generator. Like cobblestone generators, you can make infinite basalt with lava, blue ice, and soul soil. Most casual players don't know this mechanic exists, but many technical builders are able to enjoy it. Hard difficulty effects. Hard mode isn't just more damage. It also lets zombies break doors and also makes Hunger Drain more deadly. These small touches make hard mode closer to a survival horror experience. Prismarine animation. Prismarine blocks slowly shift color over time. The effect is subtle and most players don't even notice it. It's one of the few blocks that feels alive in the game. PC Gamer Demo. Before Minecraft's official release, PC Gamer Magazine gave out a demo version. It introduced thousands of players to the game. For many, it was their very first taste of Minecraft. Calm4.ogg. Minecraft's music files include Calm 1, Calm 2, Calm 3, and Calm4.ogg, which is unused. It never plays in-game, but data miners discovered it. Fans call it a lost track of C418 soundtrack. Personal capes. Some Mojang staff and community figures have personal one-off capes made for them. These are, of course, some of the rarest cosmetics in the entire game. Owning one makes your account basically priceless because it is a one-of-one of an item that is already very rare. Feeding a parrot a cookie. If you feed a parrot a cookie, it dies instantly. It's a deliberate reference to real life since parrots are allergic to chocolate. Mojang added it as kind of a safety PSA. Jigsaw block. The jigsaw block is used to piece together structures like villages. It's invisible to most players, but essential for world gen. Without it, Minecraft structures wouldn't spawn properly. Bedrock Farlands. Unlike Java, Bedrock technically still has farlands, but just way farther out. They exist almost impossibly far away, making them unreachable without cheats. They're the hidden remains of Minecraft's old infinite terrain. Ore texture changes. In 1.17, ore textures were changed to be more distinct for colorblind players. It was controversial because the old designs were iconic, but it did make ores easier to tell apart. Suspicious stew recipes. Suspicious stew can be crafted with flowers, each giving a random effect. Some effects are good, while others are harmful. It's like Minecraft's version of mystery food. Cat skin vote. When Mojang added new cats, they let fans vote on one design. The winner was Jelly, which is actually based on YouTuber's Good Life with Scars real-life pet. It's a rare case of community input directly shaping mob design. Invisible Bedrock. Bedrock Edition has an invisible, unbreakable block used for map making. Unlike barrier blocks, it doesn't even show in creative. Players often crash into it without even realizing that it's there. 10-year celebration cake. For Minecraft's 10th anniversary in 2019, Mojang gave players a special cake map item shaped like a giant birthday cake. It wasn't a permanent block, just a novelty, but it became a collectible moment in Minecraft history. Many fans wish Mojang actually did more events like this one. Colored planks. Early versions had textures for colored planks which never appeared in game. Mojang abandoned them in favor of wood type planks. Some players think that they would have overlapped too much with wool, which was already being used for colorful builds. Frosted Ice. Frosted Ice is the temporary block left behind by the Frostwalker achievement. It gradually melts back into water if left alone. It's not in the creative inventory, making it a semi-hidden block that most players don't even know about. Unused soundtracks. Minecraft's files contain certain songs that were never actually used in the game. These lost C418 tracks feel less polished and more experimental. They've become almost mythical for fans who dig into the game's audio files. MHF heads. heads. Mojang head format heads are custom accounts with mob faces. Some of these can be accounts like MHF_creeper or MHF_zombie. Servers often use them for decorations or minigames. They're still technically obtainable through commands, but aren't obvious to most players. Rarity feature. Code once hinted at a rarity feature for items. Code once hinted at a rarity system for items, more similar to RPG loot tiers. It was never implemented in survival, but it suggests Mojang considered making treasure hunting more complex. Some believe it laid the groundwork for today's loot table mechanics. Snow logging. Certain blocks like slabs and leaves can hold snow layers on top of them. This snow logging isn't very well known because it's pretty subtle. It helps snowy builds look more natural, but doesn't affect gameplay very much. Shadow seeds. Some seeds generate bizarre or unsettling terrain patterns, earning the nickname shadow seeds. They often feature eerie repetition or cursed structures. Fans treat them like the creepypasta of Minecraft's world generation. Tameable ocelots. Before cats themselves existed in the game, ocelots could be tamed into cats with fish. This mechanic was later removed, splitting ocelots and cats into separate mobs. Today, ocelots are mostly decorative, making old versions feel like they had proto-cats. Stripe lands. The stripe lands were an extreme distance terrain bug like the far lands. Worlds would generate in jagged, striped patterns that stretched infinitely. They were so rare and so hard to reach that most players only have seen them through videos. Original stonecutter. Pocket Edition once had an older stonecutter model. It was a buzzsaw embedded in stone, but it was replaced with today's chisel-like version. Many fans remember it as one of Minecraft's scariest looking blocks. Isometric screenshot. There used to be a hidden feature that let you take isometric angled screenshots of worlds. It was likely a dev tool for promotional shots. Mojang eventually removed it, but some old isometric screenshots still float around online. Unused paintings. Christopher Zetterstrand, the artist behind Minecraft's paintings, created several that just never made it into the game. Some are abstract, while others just didn't fit the style, I guess. Mods often reintroduce these unused works. Paeonia. Paeonia is the internal name for the peony flower. Mojang often uses real-world Latin names as placeholders in code. It's a small glimpse into how plants are added before being localized for players. Gear/cog. Early versions included a gear or cog icon, possibly intended to be a settings button. It was never used, but it shows that Mojang toyed with different UI concepts. Fans sometimes even add it back in with mods. Supported emojis. Minecraft's chat supports Unicode characters, including emojis. You can paste in hearts, arrows, or symbols, but they will appear in a blocky style. It's rarely used outside of servers though. Where Are We Now? Where Are We Now is one of Lena Raine's tracks added in 1.18. Unlike other songs, it feels kinda somber and nostalgic, which stands out from Minecraft's usual background ambience. Many players tie it to deep cave exploration. Southeast rule. Biome borders in Minecraft tend to shift southeast due to quirks in the generation algorithm. This southeast rule makes transitions less random than expected. It's a hidden detail that's only really noticed by technical players. Crash log messages. Minecraft's crash logs sometimes include humorous hidden messages. Some examples are, "You should try scrolls," or "Don't look directly at the bugs." It was Mojang's way of softening the frustration of crashing. Flower forest pattern. Flowers in flower forests spawn in fixed patterns rather than randomly. That's why certain flowers always grow in the same spots. It gives flower forests a strangely organized look if you study them closely. Minecart dirt. A bug once caused minecarts to display dirt textures, creating dirt minecarts. They were completely unintentional but became a running joke in early versions. Obsidian walls. Mojang once tested wall variants for obsidian, but these of course never made it past development. They would have been extremely strong, likely even unbreakable in survival. Only textures hint at their existence. Winter mode. An April Fool's update forced every world to be snowy, no matter the biome. It was Mojang's way of parodying survival challenges. Players who logged in on this forsaken day were stuck in an endless winter. Java tutorial level. Console editions had official tutorial maps, but Java didn't for some reason. Some unofficial training maps circulated in the community, sometimes called Java tutorial levels. They of course aren't official, but they show how other players taught each other before guides existed. Texture update beta. Before 1.14's texture overhaul, Mojang let players test the new designs in optional packs. Feedback was mixed, but it gave the community input before the designs became default. This was one of Mojang's first experiments with community-driven texture design. Invalid blocks. Older versions had invalid placeholder blocks. These were things that didn't render properly and crashed worlds if used. They were usually there as markers during development. Sea lantern animation. Sea lanterns suddenly pause, shifting brightness, and it's easy to miss if you're not staring at them. This small detail makes them feel a little bit more magical than other light sources. Combat test snapshots. Since 2019, Mojang has released experimental snapshots tweaking combat mechanics. They're separate from regular updates and often controversial. Many PvP players still argue about which version of combat feels right. Secret updates. In alpha, Notch released Secret Friday updates without warning. They added random features like paintings, sneaking, or signs. These chaotic surprise drops gave Minecraft a mysterious and unpredictable feel. Mojangles. Mojangles is an internal codename found in some files, and no one really knows what it's supposed to mean. It might have been an abandoned project name that just got left behind. Removed buffet options. Minecraft once had a buffet world type where you had one biome throughout the whole entire world. Mojang later removed it, merging the idea into the new customized world types. Cinematic camera. Pressing F8 in old Java versions triggered cinematic camera, and all this would do was basically smooth your mouse movement. It was used mainly for recording videos, but was eventually removed. Some mods still do bring it back though. Flat nether. An April Fool snapshot once generated the nether as a flat, super flat style world. It looked wrong and was basically unplayable, but it was just Mojang poking fun at itself. Creeper Crunch. Minecraft had an official cereal called Creeper Crunch. It came with marshmallow creeper bits and codes for cosmetic rewards. It was sold briefly in 2020, making it one of Minecraft's strangest crossovers. Dead mouse ears. The account Deadmouse spawns with giant mouse ears on its skin. This was a personal Easter egg added by Mojang exclusively for the DJ. It's one of the only celebrity-specific features in Minecraft. Original Crying Obsidian. Before beds existed, Crying Obsidian was meant to set respawn points. It glowed purple and looked unstable, but the idea was shelved for years. When it finally returned in the Nether update, it served as a respawn anchor in the Nether, which ultimately connected it back to its original purpose. Gray Tabby Cat. Early test builds included a gray Tabby Cat skin. It was replaced before final release, but screenshots proved that it did exist at one point. For collectors of lost textures, this is one of the smallest but most interesting details. Crowdin. Minecraft translations are managed on a site called Crowdin, where fans help localize the game. This is why languages like Pirate Speak exist alongside serious ones. It shows how Mojang leaned on community involvement even for small details. Root vines. Root vines were listed in early Nether snapshots as part of Crimson Forests. They were later renamed into Twisting and Weeping Vines. And as we've discussed earlier in the Iceberg, this is something that happens pretty often with Mojang testing names internally before actually finalizing when they release them. Beyond the Farlands. If you manage to travel past the Farlands, terrain gets even worse. Chunks stop loading, graphics glitch, and eventually the game just can't handle it. These areas are completely unplayable, but adventurous players still try to see what's beyond the edge. Blue ice light emission. Early tests gave blue ice a faint glow, but Mojang cut the feature before release. Some players thought it would have made underwater building more cosmetically pleasing, while others felt like it should have been scrapped to keep lighting more consistent. Surge says. Minecraft's debug screen sometimes shows Surge says messages, which are random phrases left behind by Minecraft developers Surge. They're harmless jokes, but they make debugging feel like it has a little bit of personality. Pi Edition. Minecraft Pi Edition was released free for Raspberry Pi computers. It was limited to creative and aimed at teaching coding. Many kids got their first taste of programming through it, even though it was missing core gameplay. Creeper melee attack. In early versions, creepers had a weak melee attack if they couldn't explode, but Mojang cut it pretty quickly since their explosion was already deadly. This idea, of course, would have made creepers an even more dangerous mob to encounter. Monoliths. Old terrain generation sometimes created tall, isolated pillars of stone, called monoliths. They served no purpose and kinda looked unnatural in the game. Players often saw them as eerie landmarks in alpha worlds. Chair and table texture. Some early texture sheets had basic chair and table designs. Mojang had never added furniture, which just left it to mods, but these textures proved that they at least were seriously considering it at one point. Minecraft Plus. An April Fool's screensaver parody called Minecraft Plus was released in 2021. It imitated the old Microsoft Plus packs from the 90s. It was harmless fun, but shows that Mojang still enjoys poking at nostalgia. Wax block. When honey was added, Mojang considered a full wax block, but it was replaced with honeycomb and copper waxing instead. This is one of many items teased but quietly cut. Crystallized honey. A scrapped honey-related block quickly appeared in snapshots, but it was eventually dropped in favor of honeycomb. Like wax blocks, it shows Mojang tested more honey features than most players ever knew about. Enderman collective noun. At one point, Mojang joked that a group of Endermen was called a haunting. It's never official in-game, but the community sometimes still repeats it. Minecraft 4K. Notch made a 4 kilobyte version of Minecraft for a Java contest. It was extremely simple, with just mining and placing blocks, but it proved how small the core concept could be and is still playable today. Alpha 1.1.1. Released briefly in 2010, Alpha 1.1.1 was only online for a few hours. It had a strange bug in it that made the sky completely gray. It was considered lost for 3 years until fans rediscovered it in 2013, making it one of Minecraft's rarest versions. Player name is you. In old death messages, your name was sometimes replaced with player name is you. It was a leftover placeholder Mojang forgot to remove. The players who saw it thought it was intentional and even creepy. Pigman blood. Early Pigman textures had red streaks that looked like blood. Later on, Mojang removed them to keep Minecraft a little bit more family friendly though. This is one of the earliest examples of Mojang toning down content. Vertical slab glitch. A rendering bug once made slabs appear vertical. Screenshots spread online, spreading rumors that Mojang was secretly testing them. To this day, players still beg for vertical slabs as a real feature. Legend of the Chambered. Before Minecraft, Notch worked on a blocky dungeon crawler called Legend of the Chambered. It was never finished, but heavily influenced Minecraft's design. Some fans see it as Minecraft's prototype. Wet sponge bucket. In early builds, sponges could be combined with water buckets to make wet sponge buckets. But this item was removed when Mojang redesigned sponge mechanics. It really makes you fantasize about a Minecraft where we do have wet sponge buckets. Villager/Illager hood. Villager heads have odd shading that looks like either a hood or a unibrow, but Mojang has of course never fully explained it. In the past, people have debated online about whether it was clothing or just sloppy texturing. Grimstone. Before Deep Slate was finalized, it was called Grimstone. Many players loved the darker name and texture. Mojang changed it, but many players wished that Grimstone was here to stay. Launcher Easter eggs. The Minecraft launcher sometimes has hidden jokes. These can either be odd messages, as we talked about before, retro buttons, or references on April Fools. It really is more than just a menu, and some longtime players check it just for the surprise. Blue Rose. In early Pocket Edition, there was a blue rose flower. It was replaced by Azure Bluets and never came back. That makes it one of Minecraft's rarest lost plants. The flattening. In 1.13, Mojang rewrote all block IDs into a new format. This flattening broke tons of mods and maps, but fixed huge technical issues. It was one of Minecraft's biggest backend changes ever. Super Duper Graphics Pack. Announced at E3 2017, this was supposed to bring 4K textures and shaders to Bedrock. It was hyped as the next big step for Minecraft visuals, but it was cancelled in 2019, leaving behind only trailers. Seed templates. In early development, world seeds often generated predictable layouts called templates. This was scrapped in favor of full randomness though. Players who loaded the old seeds noticed the same terrain repeating. Rock crafting recipes. For a short time, Mojang experimented with different tool recipes for stones like granite and diorite. They were cut quickly, leaving stone types decorative only. It's yet another idea that Mojang tested and quickly dropped. Sunken World Tutorial. Some console tutorial maps contained leftover pieces from other tutorial worlds sunken underwater or even underground. Players who dug around could find these ghostly remnants. It made the maps feel almost haunted. Excited Z. Excited Z was a placeholder skin Mojang used in development screenshots. It was never intended for release, but still shows up in old files. Fans treat it as one of Minecraft's phantom players. Illager Alt. Illager Alt is a mysterious alternate Illager texture in the files, and of course it doesn't spawn naturally. It's likely a test texture, but Mojang never explained it. Minecraft Magazine. For a short time, Mojang partnered with Egmont to publish Minecraft World, a kids magazine. It had comics, guides, and codes. It ended quietly after a few years, making it a usually forgotten piece of Minecraft media. Green Enderman Eyes. Enderman had glowing green eyes instead of purple. The design was changed before release, but glitches still do sometimes make them flash green briefly. This tiny change sparked rumors about alternate Enderman. End generation cutoff. The end dimension doesn't generate infinitely. After a certain distance, islands stop spawning and only the void remains. It feels like walking to the edge of existence itself. Player stats. Minecraft actually quietly tracks dozens of stats. This includes things like blocks mined, distance walked, damage taken, and trades completed. Some are visible in the stats menu, but others only pop up with commands. This shows just how much the game is watching every move you make. Studded armor. InDev included an experimental studded armor made of leather and iron. It was weaker than iron but stronger than leather. The idea was scrapped quickly, making it one of Minecraft's earliest cut items. Audio loops. Cave ambience isn't fully random. It uses looping audio files that sometimes cut off oddly. This glitchy quality makes the audio feel like whispers or broken signals. It added to the myth that Minecraft was secretly alive. Seed of a painting. The Creebet painting looks like a screenshot of a real-world seed. Fans launched hunts to find the exact seed it came from, much like they did with the panorama background. Some of these painting hunts still go on today. Erosion. Minecraft's terrain uses a basic erosion algorithm to make smoother valleys and mountains. Sometimes the code glitches though, creating unnatural overhangs or bizarre canyons. Players thought that these were deliberate, but they're really just the side effects of terrain math. Chinese mob vote. Minecraft China has held exclusive mob votes with designs not seen anywhere else. Some examples include golden rabbits and cloud chameleons. Since they never left that version, they're generally unobtainable outside of China. Sun/moon shape vote. In early development, Mojang tested different shapes for the sun and moon, including round ones, but they of course settled on square to match the blocky aesthetic. Some texture packs still bring back the old concepts. Minecraft Con. Before Minecon, Mojang briefly referred to the event as Minecraft Con. The name didn't stick, but some promotional material still used it. It shows how informal early Mojang decisions really were. Minecraft, the story of Mojang. A 2012 documentary covered Minecraft's rise from indie project to cultural phenomenon. It featured interviews with Notch, Jeb, and community leaders. Many newer fans don't even know it exists. Infinite water source with one block. In early versions, it was possible to generate infinite water with just one source block. This was quickly patched, but players used to talk about it like it was a secret exploit. Minecraft miniseries. This was a short animated series made in partnership with Mojang and YouTube creators, but it was overshadowed by story mode and quietly faded from memory. Six-sided blocks. Blocks like logs had test variants with the same texture on all 6 faces. They were hidden for years until commands made them accessible. Builders loved them for clean designs, but they were never part of survival. Debug versions. Sometimes Mojang accidentally released debug builds, complete with test commands and placeholder blocks. They're rare, but they still do circulate online. MATTIS crafting system. Notch once tested a text-based crafting system called MATTIS. This is where players basically typed items names instead of using a grid. It was scraps for being clunky, but it shows how different Minecraft could have been. Twitch chat integration. Java once had built-in Twitch streaming. Players could even read chat directly in the game. The feature was removed as Twitch evolved, but for a while, Minecraft doubled as a streaming client. Skeleton melee attack. In early builds, skeletons used melee if they couldn't shoot. This made them double threats, just like the creepers were with their old melee. But Mojang eventually removed it to give mobs more distinct roles. Original InfDev Farlands. The first Farlands weren't in beta, but InfDev. The early ones were more jagged and chaotic. breaking at smaller distances. They're rarely mentioned compared to the more famous beta farlands. Placeholder trees. Old test builds used crude cubes stacked as placeholder trees. Screenshots of these trees looked surreal, like Minecraft stripped to its bones. They prove how unfinished the game once was. Placeholder block drops. Breaking blocks sometimes gave unrelated drops in early versions, like leaves dropping from stone. These placeholders let Mojang test systems before loot tables were finalized. Copper horn. Bedrock previews had copper horns, crafted with copper and goat horns. They played different notes but were scrapped before release. To this day, fans still want them officially added. Air variants. Minecraft has 3 air blocks: normal, cave air, and void air. They look identical but behave differently for water and light. It's one of the weirdest invisible mechanics of the game. Minecraft periodic table. Mojang once published a periodic table of Minecraft blocks for schools. It presented blocks as scientific elements. It was a neat educational gimmick, but faded into obscurity. Minecon 2011 capes. The very first Minecon capes are among the rarest cosmetics. Accounts with these capes sell for thousands of dollars online. They're a symbol of being there from the very beginning. Minicraft. Notch made Minicraft for a 2011 game jam. It was a 2D survival game about defeating the Air Wizard. It's still playable online and is often called Minecraft's little brother. Technically updated. This phrase refers to back-end changes like the flattening and combat tests. They aren't flashy, but they reshape how the game functions. For technical players, these updates are bigger than the flashy mobs or blocks. Scrapped sandstone hieroglyphs. Early desert temples were planned with hieroglyph-style markings on sandstone. Some resembled mobs or symbols, but Mojang cut this before release. The only thing that survived was the creeper face terracotta in temples, which many fans think was the final remnant of this idea. Minecraft Wiki used to be the bug tracker. Players documented bugs directly on community wikis. This made early bug reports messy and inconsistent, but it preserved lots of strange old glitches. In a way, the Minecraft wiki was both a fan encyclopedia and Mojang support line. Minecraft EDU. Minecraft EDU was a third-party project that customized Minecraft for schools. Mojang eventually acquired it and turned it into Education Edition. Many teachers preferred EDU's simplicity, and its mods added features like chalkboards and student logins that still inspire today's classroom versions. Unused Explorer maps. Minecraft's code references unused Explorer maps for unused structures like desert temples or fossils. Only woodland mansions, ocean monuments, and of course buried treasure were finalized. These maps could have made other structures easier to find, but Mojang ultimately dropped the idea. Barrel variants. During snapshot testing, Mojang tested multiple barrel textures. Some of them had metal bands, while others looked chunkier, but they eventually settled on the clean wooden one that we all know today. These cut textures still appear in data mining archives. Bell variants. Just like barrels, bells had multiple design variants as well. Some were rustic, others were oversized, but those just didn't really fit Minecraft's style. Mojang simplified it down to the single village bell that we have now, 11. Besides the well-known Disc 11, there's also an unused audio file just called 11. It's mostly silence with faint static, which only makes it even creepier. It may have been an early draft of Disc 11 or just a test for an audio file in the game, but Mojang of course never confirmed any of this. Unused Purpur variants. Purpur blocks were supposed to have more variants like different stairs and slabs. They never made it into survival, leaving the ends building palette smaller than Mojang originally planned for. Smooth stone brick. This block existed briefly in test builds, looking like polished stone bricks. Mojang dropped it before release, but mods and custom servers sometimes still reintroduce it. Bedrock dev build versions. Sometimes Mojang accidentally pushed internal Bedrock builds into the store. These versions contained unfinished mobs, broken textures, and debug commands. For players who downloaded them, it felt kinda like they were peeking behind the curtains at Mojang's workshop. Removed splashes. This has been referenced in other entries on the Iceberg earlier in the video, but basically, dozens of title screen splashes have been quietly removed, usually for being outdated or, of course, referencing Notch. Made by Notch was one of the most famous removals. These lost splashes kinda show how Mojang is slightly reshaping Minecraft's identity. Droopy likes your face. In the credits, Minecraft lists Droopy Likes Your Face, which is just a reference to C418's music alias Droopy. It, of course, doesn't affect the game at all, but serves as just yet another inside joke added by Mojang. Longest item names. Through anvils and commands, you can rename items to absurdly long names. Some names are so long that they just flat out break the UI, stretching all the way across the screen. Servers sometimes use this for either Easter eggs or just trolling. Ice Desert. InDev had a biome called Ice Desert, which was basically just a snow-covered desert, but it was ultimately scrapped for being too redundant in the game. Players who explore old builds can still find worlds with these forgotten biomes. Milkable squids. At one point, Mojang considered making squids milkable just like cows. It was cut before release, probably for being a little bit too silly, but it still is a long-running meme in the Minecraft community for those who are aware of it. Alex Glasses. Concept art once showed Alex wearing glasses. Mojang dropped the look, but fan art sometimes revives it as a beta design. It's another small tweak that Mojang tested before finalizing designs. Cocoa Bean Recipe. Before jungles, cocoa beans could only be found in dungeon chests. Players spread fake recipes online claiming that you can craft them, which were of course only rumors. When jungle trees were added, the myth finally ended. Secret cave type. Old code referenced a secret cave type that never appeared in the game. It might have been an early prototype for lush or dripstone caves, but Mojang never explained it. It remains one of Minecraft's most mysterious unused scraps of code. Removed potions. Several potions existed in code but just never made it to survival. Some of these potions included nausea, blindness, and even levitation. Some are still accessible with commands, but they of course never gave them official recipes. Cauldron brewing. In old Bedrock builds, cauldrons were used for brewing potions instead of brewing stands. Players found it a little bit clunky, so Mojang removed it, but Education Edition still uses cauldrons for chemistry-based brewing. Hidden commands. Minecraft has lots of old, undocumented commands like /test4 or /debug. They were developer tools that stuck around but were eventually replaced by modern equivalents. They show how Mojang gradually cleaned up the command system but still left some bits and pieces in the game. Temporary capes. Minecraft has given out temporary capes for April Fools or testing. They disappear after the event ends, making them somewhat rarer than Minecon capes. Very few screenshots of them survive online. Large screenshot. Pressing F2 and F1 in old version saved a giant large screenshot. It was meant for promotional images, but Mojang quietly removed it. Fans only ever rediscovered it years later. Minecoin Gold Color. Bedrock's premium currency, Minecoins, uses a unique shade of gold. It's not used anywhere else in the game. It's a tiny but deliberate branding choice buried in the design, of course exclusive for Bedrock. Console debug menu. Console editions had hidden debug menus accessible by button combos. They showed FPS, chunk borders, and IDs. Since most players stumbled upon it accidentally, they thought that they must have glitched the game out or something instead of knowing that it was actually part of the game. 1. Another mysterious sound file in the archives is simply called 1. It doesn't play anywhere in the game. Like 11 and Death, it only adds to Minecraft's eerie audio mysteries. 12 Mark 40 Awesome. This is a strange developer comment found in Minecraft's code that just reads 12 Mark 40 Awesome. No one knows what the heck it means. It's likely an inside joke or just a placeholder, but some fans treat it like a secret code. Java Edition Beta 1.8 Pre-Release 2. Wink. This version of the game had its name literally end with a winking face. Mojang never explained it, they kinda just added it there as a one-off. Hashtag It's LipoFutzly. This is a cryptic hashtag that once appeared in Minecraft's changelogs. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing it right, but I'm assuming it's LipoFutzly, but of course that could be wrong. Its meaning has of course never been explained either. And this one is extra confusing too, because we don't know if it's referring to a person or a thing or like what the heck it's even saying. Elder Guardian Ghost. When Elder Guardians die, their models sometimes linger for a split second, which looks pretty darn ghostly. This is just a glitch and isn't actually intentional to the game, but it does look pretty creepy. Skis. Unused code and textures hint that Mojang once actually considered skis for snow travel. They were of course never added, but show that Mojang tested more winter gear than we ever have known about. Golden Oak. A mistranslation in non-English language files once translated Golden Oak to Golden Oak. It was quietly fixed by Mojang, but screenshots of it still exist online. Missing launcher versions. The official launcher has gaps in archived versions, with some snapshots just missing completely. These lost builds definitely trigger some players who are looking through the list of versions and then some are just missing for no apparent reason. Death Track. An unused music file called Death sits in Minecraft's archives. Just like the others, it is distorted and short, which only adds to the eerie feel of unused Minecraft audio. Pocket Edition J versions. Some early Pocket builds were listed with J suffixes, like 0.12.1J. The reason why they ended with J was to show that they were experimental and often skipped over in official history. 15W4A code. The April Fool's 2015 snapshot added QR codes that led to joke pages. Some generated complete nonsense, but others actually led to Mojang teasers. Project Malmo. This was a Microsoft research project that used Minecraft to test AI. Bots learned how to explore, build, and complete goals. It turned Minecraft into a laboratory for machine learning for a brief period. 20W14 End City books. The 2020 April Fool snapshot added random gibberish books to end cities. Some phrases actually made sense though, which creeped players out. Unused loot chests. Chests for certain structures like igloos or fossils exist in the code but don't appear in the game in survival. We can only assume that they're just leftovers from development experiments. Stock audio files. Several Minecraft sounds like doors and splashes come from stock audio libraries. Fans have even tracked down the originals, finding out what the real-world sources are. Fans have tracked down the originals, finding out what their real-world audio sources are. Brickcraft. This was an old Mojang prototype similar to LEGO Digital Designer. It let players place blocky structures all in browser. It never fully released, but screenshots still do remain online. Steve Villager Hybrid. A creepy placeholder mob with Steve's body and a villager's head appeared in early versions. It was never actually meant for survival, but still does look pretty uncanny in old screenshots. Old infinite lava source method. Early lava physics allowed infinite lava pools just like water, but Mojang removed it, not necessarily to make lava rarer, but just so that you couldn't generate it infinitely. 1K in 24 hours. An old Mojang blog post proudly talked about how Minecraft sold 1,000 copies in 24 hours. That number is very tiny compared to what they can sell in 24 hours today, but at the time it was pretty groundbreaking. Original conduit particle texture. Early conduit textures look chaotic and just glitchy. Mojang refined them into the smooth blue particles that we all know today though. Combined copper horn sounds. When testing copper horns, some combinations overlapped into harsh static. Mojang cut them because the sounds were just too messy. Structure block original texture. Structure blocks originally had a mechanical gear texture, but Mojang switched to the black and purple cube design for more clarity. Leaves creeper. A glitch once made creepers render as leaf texture. This was pretty scary because it made them nearly impossible to see and camouflaged in forests. Players called them leaf creepers and hated how hard they were to spot. Less blocky experiment. Mojang briefly tested rounded block models. Screenshots looked uncanny because it was Minecraft without the signature sharp cubes. That being said, it was dropped immediately. Pocket Edition background world. Old Pocket menus used a flat background world behind buttons. It wasn't a real seed, just a test map. But players still tried to replicate it for years, of course with no success. Pigtails. A teased Mojang spin-off project never materialized. Nothing beyond the name was revealed, leaving it a total mystery. Minecraft name origin. This one is pretty simple because Notch just originally mashed mine for mining and craft for crafting to get Minecraft. He considered other names but stuck with Minecraft, not knowing that it would become one of gaming's most iconic titles. Removed Bedrock Edition particles. Some early Bedrock betas had unique particle effects. These included things like glows, sparkles, and swirls, but they never appeared in survival. Even though they still exist in old files, Mojang removed them during cleanup. Players who saw them thought they hinted at upcoming blocks, but they were just test effects. Clownfish. For years, clownfish were their own item. caught while fishing. They had little use except for taming ocelots. When tropical fish were added, clownfish were merged into that system, making them one of Minecraft's lost items. Removed languages. As I briefly mentioned, Minecraft has had dozens of joke and experimental languages, from pirate speak to Klingon. Over time, Mojang quietly removed several of them, including broken or offensive ones. Some even lasted only a few snapshots, making them essentially forgotten. Strider fin. Unused bedrock textures suggest that striders were originally meant to drop strider fins. It was likely cut because striders already drop string. Still, it shows another example of how Mojang once planned for more unique mob drops. 123.123.png. Mysterious file named 123.123.png appeared in certain developer builds. No one even knows what it originally was, just a blank placeholder image. The random name only makes it even weirder. Debug textures. Minecraft's file contains debug textures like pink and black checkerboards, wireframes, and garbled icons. They're not meant to be seen, but sometimes bugs make them appear in-game. When they do, they make the game feel completely broken. Chunk info entity, hanging, and entity pop. These are weirdly named leftover files from early versions of the game. They seem tied to unfinished entities like paintings or item frames. Mojang has never explained them, which has kinda just left them as some of the strangest names in the game's archives. Redstone alternatives. During early testing, Mojang tested alternatives to redstone, as in different glowing dusts with unique behaviors. But they eventually scrapped the idea to avoid confusing players. This shows how redstone could have been much more complex than it already was. Obsidian generator. Like cobblestone generators, there was once a bug that let you generate obsidian infinitely. It was patched quickly, but after that it made players think if there were secret ways to make obsidian farms. 20W14 ARG. The 2020 April Fool snapshot wasn't just a joke update, it also doubled as an ARG, or alternate reality game. Mojang hid codes in the game, on their website, and on social posts. Fans pieced them together into a giant puzzle, making it one of Mojang's most elaborate community events. Humble Indie Bundle image. Early promotional material for Minecraft included special images for bundles like the Humble Indie Bundle. Some of these images still lurk in the files. They're odd remnants of Mojang's marketing days before Minecraft became massive. Prototype dye textures. Before dyes were finalized, Mojang tested overly bright neon textures. They looked pretty out of place though compared to Minecraft's muted colors. The modern dyes are toned down, but these old textures still remain in screenshots. Pocket Edition prototype button textures. Old Pocket Edition builds had clunky, square UI buttons. They really didn't match Minecraft's style at all. Mojang eventually replaced them with cleaner designs, but older players still remember how awkward the menus looked. Pocket Edition demo. A limited demo version of Pocket Edition existed briefly on the App Store. It gave players a tiny survival island and a time limit. It was delisted quickly, making it effectively lost. Fire text. An early fire texture in the game is literally named Fire text in all caps and an exclamation point. It looked cartoonish and rough compared to the final fire animation. It was replaced, of course, but the name still makes it stand out in the code. HNST. This is a cryptic label found in some old code. It's never been explained, but fans guess that it either stands for honest or hidden namespace test. Like most of the leftovers in this iceberg, Mojang never commented on it. Developer commands. Debug builds contain special commands that Mojang used to test features. Some leaked versions actually show them in action, like forcing mobs to spawn instantly or crashing the game on purpose. These tools were of course never meant for players and wouldn't really make sense to introduce into a survival world. Skulk Jaw. Before the Warden, Mojang tested a block called the Skulk Jaw. It snapped shut like a trap when triggered. The idea was dropped, but it gave a taste of how Mojang wanted Skulk to feel alive. Buffet checkerboard pattern. A world gen bug once made buffet worlds generate in alternating checkerboard patterns. Plains, deserts, and oceans repeated in neat squares. It looked like a broken board game version of Minecraft, basically. Deadmau5 camera. Alongside his unique ears, Deadmau5's account also had a special third-person camera angle. It was one of the few features ever tied to a single player. Invalid bedrock game modes. By editing files, players found game modes with invalid IDs, like -1 or 6. These completely broke the game, creating strange hybrids of creative and survival. They weren't functional, but gave a glimpse into how fragile Bedrock systems were. Xbox 360 development builds. 4J Studios, the team behind console ports, used dev builds that sometimes leaked. These had unfinished mobs, placeholder blocks, and rainbow textures. They showed just how different console development was compared to Java. Missing versions. Some early builds were released briefly, but then overwritten, leaving behind no archive. We kinda touched on this, where screenshots and changelogs proved they existed, but the actual files themselves are completely gone. For Minecraft historians, these missing builds are kind of like lost chapters of the game's story. Reserved 6. Deep in Mojang's code, there's a placeholder labeled Reserve 6. It has absolutely no explanation or use. Some players think it was meant for a scrapped feature slot, while others think it was an inside developer joke. Either way, it's still unexplained. Block 253 and 254. Back when Minecraft used numbered IDs, 253 and 254 were unused placeholders. Forcing them into the game caused missing textures or crashes. Players call them ghost blocks since they technically do exist but have no identity. 1.17/1.18 Farlands. When Mojang rewrote World Gen, new Farlands appeared at extreme distances. Instead of classic jagged cliffs, they created endless stretched mountains and mirrored terrain. They're a modern version of Minecraft's most famous glitch, Hoglin meat. In one snapshot, Hoglins dropped an item literally called Hoglin meat. It was renamed almost immediately to pork chops. It's one of the shortest lived official items in the game. Bedrock single biome worlds. Bedrock once had an experimental setting to generate infinite worlds of just one biome. They often spawned broken or barren, with missing features. Mojang removed the option quietly, making it a forgotten experiment. Bedrock mountain holes. A bedrock terrain bug sometimes created massive hollow voids inside of mountains. Perfect spears cut out of stone, kind of like giant scoops. Players found them unsettling, as if something had eaten the landscape. OS X edition. Old changelogs refer to a special OS X edition of Minecraft for Mac. It wasn't functionally different, but no copies of it survive. It's one of the rarest lost builds in Minecraft history. Resizable old worlds in Bedrock. Early Pocket Edition maps were limited to 256 by 256. Later updates let player expand these worlds into infinite ones, but the conversion often glitched. You'd find oceans cut off like cliffs, or half-generated villages. Interesting ice pattern. Some seeds generated ice with repeating shapes, some of them being spirals, straight lines, and even grids. These patterns look too structured to be natural, sparking creepy theories, and Mojang never explained why. XKD Edition. This was a special dev build for the Xbox 360, used by 4J Studios. It had rainbow textures, debug blocks, and test mobs. Leaks of it show just how strange Minecraft looked mid-development. Early Pocket Edition seeds not randomly generated. The first mobile versions of the game didn't use true random seeds. Instead, they cycled through a small pool of pre-made maps. Players thought they had infinite worlds, but really, they were all exploring the same few layouts. Debug 4J item. This was a console debug item left behind by 4J Studios. It doesn't have a texture or function, but it's still buried in the files. Forcing it into the game usually breaks things. Client request placeholder block. This is Bedrock's strangest leftover, an invisible block called Client Request Placeholder Block, and sometimes it even crashes worlds entirely. It's one of the most haunted blocks in Minecraft's code.